Hello, it's Leslie. This is number 3 in my binge-able movie series about films that are psychologically or mental health related. If you want to check out 5 or 4, you can back up and look at my profile. If you want to see 2 and 1, follow along for more. I promise no major spoilers, but I'm kind of dancing in spoiler adjacent material because this whole series is about what I think they got right, what I think is psychologically cogent, and why I think you should bother to check the movie out. Number 3 is Memento. If you've seen it, you may have found yourself wondering, is this real? Could something like this really happen? And the answer, sadly, is 100% yes. The movie is about the character Leonard Shelby, who has something called anterograde amnesia. Anterograde amnesia is something that happens usually as a result of some kind of traumatic brain injury, where the brain has a hard time remembering new material, forming new memories. In the world of memory, there are 3 component parts to it: encoding, storage, and retrieval. You've got to be able to get the information in, you've got to be able to keep it in, and then you've got to be able to get it back out again. When someone has anterograde amnesia as a result of, an aneurysm or a brain injury of some kind, the part of the memory, the part of the brain that gets impacted, which is the hippocampus, makes it so that you have an encoding issue. You can't build new memories, but all of the old memories remain intact. So people keep their personalities, they retain the ability to do things like speak and understand language, they can continue to drive a car, they can function in all of the ways that the brain is required to function. What they can't do is encode new memories. And what is very common when people have conditions like anterograde amnesia is that because there is an awareness that there's a memory difficulty, which is an interesting contradiction if you think about it. It's almost like you can't learn new things, but you are somehow capable of learning that you have a disability. People will do things to adapt, like they'll learn how to take notes, they'll learn how to kind of organize their experience so that they can function in the world. And, because it's a Christopher Nolan film, and I'm not going to give too much away, but the way the film is edited, it sort of plays with time in such a way that as the viewer, you get to kind of experience what Leonard Shelby experiences, which is kind of the constant confusion of finding yourself in an environment where you don't know where you were a moment ago. And so it's really, really well done that way. Just as a tiny bit of personal information, I have some familiarity with this because my mother had a brain hemorrhage when I was a child. And even though she didn't have anterograde amnesia and her short-term memory deficits weren't quite that severe, she did have short-term memory deficits, and she had to do things like take a lot of notes so that she didn't forget stuff. So I can say both personally and professionally, this is a very accurate depiction of what happens when someone loses their ability to generate new memories. And so again, if you're enjoying this series, follow along for numbers 2 and 1, or you can back up and see 5 and 4. Thanks a lot.